I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Gray State is less a movie than it is a warning. We do not live in a dictatorship, but we do live in a police state. What we're going to see is the unveiling of this Gray State foisted upon America. The thing that you have to begin to understand about conspiracy theory is that at some point, it's no longer theory. You talk about peak oil, you talk about FEMA camps, you talk about global warming, you talk about the UN, you talk about the NWO. They're prepping for Megadeth. Last night's Declaration of Washington. Once the red carpet gets rolled out for this New World Order program, everything is free game. The bastard of it all is that you've heard of everything. Americans believe that they can't do it. And day by day, they're becoming correct. It's a game of numbers, and we're losing.
Good morning, everyone. It's April 8th, 2020. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing this morning? Do you remember that guy? In case you don't know who he is an individual making a film about exactly what's going on and what's been going on for some time. But it seems that they've begun to ratchet up their efforts. And what do I mean by there? Well, I wouldn't call it a gray state anymore. It has just flat out become the state. And this movie was supposed to come out and expose many of the plans that are being opened now for us. So, since he and his family's murder, they say that it was murder-suicide, but it wasn't. They killed him. And the reason is he was going to expose their plans in great detail in the most effective way possible to reach the sheeple through cinema. So, since his death, how far have they come in their implementation of their plans? I don't recall what year it was that he died, but I do know Barack Obama was the president, and I do believe it was his first term. So, during Barack Obama's term, they managed to pass legislation like Obamacare that allowed for execution by guillotine. Did you know that? It does. since his death, his murder, they have bought billions and billions of rounds of hollow point ammunition. Since then, they have been practicing shooting citizens with guns, citizens who have guns, pregnant women, children, old farmers. They've been practicing to do this to you. Since then, they have bought thousands of gallons of hydrogen cyanide gas. Thousands of guillotine blades. Did you know that? I did a video about this, these things a long time ago, when FedBizOp was online, and they've changed it since then. How convenient! And they back then they were ordering massive amounts of supplies, and it has not slowed down. They have since then created policies that enables the president to seize manufacturing, agriculture, transportation. Well, the list is pretty long, and I can't possibly remember all of them, but basically seize control over all of the industries in this country. Nationalizing these industries in this country. And that is currently going on. Now, I did a video last night, and if you haven't seen it, you should. And this is kind of a follow-up as to where we're at in this gray state, where the state that's supposed to protect the rights of the citizens has turned gray. Same people, same law enforcement agencies, but they no longer have rules to abide by. And you bear witness to this every time I do a video showing all the different police atrocities going on in our nation. Right? We know that virtually every phone call, text message, email, or any other digital or electronic correspondence or communication is being data mined, where your data is sent to a facility there in Utah and fed into a supercomputer where they, not they, but the computer decides what your threat matrix score is. and these things are continuously updated all the time. Okay? There's no longer a red or blue list. It is now a black list, meaning people who are or were on the red and blue list are now clumped together on the blacklist and blacklist. Do I need to say more? We know what this list is, its purpose, right? And I'm not the only one that's covered this. Many, many other people have covered this. As a matter of fact, a credible individual, and you can say what you want about him, but overall, he's credible. Okay, Jesse Ventura exposed these FEMA camps and this police state about a decade ago or more. And since then, the gray state has grown by leaps and bounds. It has gobbled up many a people. It has murdered many people. So here we are, this many years later. I honestly don't know how many years it's been, but it's a considerable time. And progress has been made through one crisis after another. And somehow I believe that this most recent crisis is meant to roll in the rest of it. The food rationing, the seizure of private property, the forced vaccination of the entire world population, the murder or execution of those of us who will not comply. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people will comply. A lot of people will be begging. They are begging for our society to be locked down. They will be begging for our government to implement the idea Dr. Tedros of the WHO put forward just a couple of days ago, where they will go and seek out people who've been infected by stopping them while they're driving, by going to their home and forcibly testing. And anybody who is currently infected, and probably others, that pesky blacklist, will be forcibly separated from their family, children taken to God knows where, and all manner of things done to the captured parties. Do you think that's far-fetched? Consider for a moment that we have a long history in this nation of public experimentation. We have a long history in this country of the military being used against the people. We have a long history in this country of police enforcing the whims of politicians with heavy hands and happy trigger fingers. But this history is ignored. It is ignored. Because people want to believe that everything is going to be okay. And that's why my channel don't get a lot of views, because I'm not going to tell you everything's going to be okay when I know the opposite is true. I don't lie to my children. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay? I'll do my absolute best anyway, not to lie. And it will never be intentional. And what I mean by that is I might get a number wrong or a date wrong, but I'm not going to just bald-face make shit up. Okay? So, for the last 10 years or more, we've had the United Nations pre-staging equipment throughout the entire United States. And this has been going on for a long time. At some point, and I think this point is soon, that equipment is going to get used. On us. See, that's what the whole stalling thing was about, I believe. I could be wrong. Nothing at all may come of this. But does it really look that way? Does it? No, it doesn't look that way. It looks like a whole bunch of somethings is coming out of this. ID 2020, for example. That pedophile Bill Gates, his pet project, and these vaccinations. And one of the reasons I thought the pandemic could be, or likely is, real is because they don't have a vaccine to sell to you. But the deal is they're going to use it to scare the fuck out of people so that they will be begging for a vaccine. So that they continue to beg for their own imprisonment. So they continue to beg for the government to crack down on those not obeying their whims. They will call the authorities on you if you do anything against what you've been ordered to do. And you know I'm right. Every year, we cover reports of people snitching on children for having the fucking nerve to have a lemonade stand or having the fucking nerve to sell some bottled water without a permit. Just think of how willing they're going to be to snitch on you when they get a monetary reward for it, when they think their own lives are in jeopardy. You think we live in a nation of snitches now? And we do. You can't trust anybody. Unfortunately, this is the nation we live in. And there's only one solution. One. All other solutions are and have been a waste of time throughout the decades. You know, voting the bums out, writing letters to your congressman and senator, protesting. These things have been done and done and done and done some more. Protesting back in Colorado over shitty working conditions got a bunch of women and children murdered by the militia, which was the National Guard back then, for the Rockefellers. And we have these instances of violence being inflicted upon the public if they ever dare to speak out about how shittily they're being treated by the robber barons or the government. The police will come with their riot shields and their batons, and they will beat the shit out of you for it. They will kidnap you. They will torture you. They will cage you. And that's what this whole rollout is about, is the gray state. The United Nations Agenda 21. You know, guns have been flying out of the stores. The problem is, most of the people buying these guns don't even realize who the real enemy is. They don't understand that the people they support with their little blue thin lines on their cars are turning against them. The nurses and doctors and EMT drivers are all turning against the public. And by design. See, they want those folks to believe that they are valued members of their team. But these people, in the end, will all be sacrificed to the altar of the state. Our children. People keep on talking about how the economy is going to bounce magically back somehow, with all the businesses closed, with all the people sitting at home, getting drunk, smacking their spouses, and playing video games and abusing their children. I really, really, truly hope that actual justice is served this time around. But somehow, I think the people are going to react too late. So this is our future, and it's the near future. We have the FEMA camps. We have the pre-placed United Nations equipment. We have the thousands of gallons of hydrogen cyanide gas. We have the guillotine blades. We have the bodies in place. We have many, many levels all ready to go. And I warned before Donald Trump was elected or selected that he was a Trojan horse. I nicknamed him Trojan Horse Trump for the longest time. That's what I called him. I warned that he would be used to collapse the economy so that people with right-leaning ideology leanings be fully blamed and then scapegoated, and it looks like that's exactly what's going on. So, I can't tell you to prepare anymore because we're beyond that now. And time for preparations is up. I would tell you to go and get yourself some firepower, but we're beyond that. Time is up. I would tell you to do some research about the RAND Corporation and the United Nations and all these other defense contractors. But you won't. And time is already up. There is no more time for any of this. And this so-called pandemic will be used to usher in the remaining, what would I call them? Remaining aspects of the globalist agenda. The time for preparing is over. The time for fight has begun. Until next time, kill the state, live free.